1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Friha Hassan. First, the headlines. Prime Minister interacting with the Afghan media representatives in Islamabad today said Pakistan has no favorites in Afghanistan and it will support the government in Kabul chosen by the Afghans themselves. Pakistan has again called for making efforts to find an inclusive, broad-based and comprehensive political settlement to the Afghan conflict. President has stressed the need to further enhance trade, investment and defense relations with South Africa. Prime Minister Imran Khan says government is committed to provide resources to the judiciary for removing obstacles in the way of access to justice and make judicial system more effective. Foreign Minister, while talking to Bahrain's Crown Prince and Deputy Supreme Commander in Manama today, said that Pakistan wants to enhance economic linkages with Bahrain. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, senior Hurriyat leader Professor Abdul Ghani Butt has asked New Delhi to start talks with Islamabad to settle the Kashmir dispute once and for all. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has said that Pakistan has no favorites in Afghanistan and it would support any government in the neighboring country chosen by the Afghans themselves. Interacting with the Afghan media representatives in Islamabad today, he said our policy is that whoever the people of Afghanistan choose, Pakistan will have the best relationship with them. The Prime Minister said Pakistan is no longer pursuing its policy of strategic depth in Afghanistan as his government strongly believes that Afghanistan can never be controlled from outside. Terming unfortunate the recent statements from the Afghan government officials accusing Pakistan of supporting Taliban, Imran Khan said Pakistan has nothing to do with the actions of the Taliban. He said no country has ever tried harder than Pakistan to bring the Taliban to the dialogue table and mentioned that the efforts were also acknowledged by U.S. Special Representative Ambassador Zalmay Khalilzad. Imran Khan said he always opposed a military solution to Afghanistan as political compromise between the Afghan government and the Taliban to form an inclusive government is the only solution to achieve peace. Prime Minister Imran Khan said there are already 3 million Afghan refugees in Pakistan and we cannot afford to have another influx of refugees. He said a peaceful Afghanistan could act as a corridor for Pakistan's trade route to Central Asian states and could also benefit from Pakistan's Gwadar seaport. To a question, the Prime Minister said India took away the statehood of illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir through illegal steps of 5th August 2019. He said there are UN resolutions which accept the right of self-determination of Kashmiri people. He said we will not sit with India until it restores the statehood of the disputed territory. A U.S. government watchdog says that Afghan government in Kabul will be fighting for its life and could well fall to the Taliban after the United States completes its military withdrawal from the country. According to a report released by Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction, a U.S. basis agency charged with monitoring the events on the ground, said that overall trend is clearly unfavorable to the Afghan government, which could face an existential crisis if it isn't addressed and reversed. The U.S. watchdog report further says that Afghan Air Force is overtaxed and will not likely be able to sustain its current pace of operation. President Dr. Arif Alvi says Pakistan and South Africa enjoy excellent cooperation in the field of defense, which needs to be further expanded for the mutual benefit of the two countries. He expressed these views while talking to the visiting chief of South African National Defense Force, who called on him in Islamabad today. The president said Pakistan attaches great importance to its ties with South Africa and wants to further enhance trade, investment and defense relations with it. The president highlighted Pakistan's strategy of smart lockdowns that successfully contained the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. He also shed light on the human rights violations in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir by the Indian security forces against the innocent Kashmiris. Chief of South African National Defence Forces, called on Naval Chief Admiral Mohammad Amjad Khan Niazi in Islamabad today and discussed regional maritime security situation and matters of mutual interests. The Naval Chief briefed the visiting dignitary about Pakistan Navy's role in regional peace and security. The Chief of South African National Defence Forces commended Pakistan Navy's efforts for maritime security. This is Radio Pakistan. Prime Minister Imran Khan has said that ensuring provision of speedy and easy justice to the common man is the foremost priority of the government. He was talking to Attorney General of Pakistan Khalid Javed Khan in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister said the government is committed to provide every possible assistance and resources to the judiciary to remove obstacles in the way of access to justice and make the judicial system more effective. The Attorney General apprised the Prime Minister about different judicial matters, ongoing reforms in the justice system, and Water Commission report. The Prime Minister commended the efforts of Justice Shahid Karim regarding Water Commission report. He said water is a highly critical issue and Justice Shahid Karim's special interest and efforts in this regard are appreciable. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says Pakistan has been following the agenda of economic development under the vision of Prime Minister Imran Khan. He was talking to Bahrain's Crown Prince, Deputy Supreme Commander, and Prime Minister Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa in Manama today. The Foreign Minister said Pakistan wants to enhance economic linkages with Bahrain. The two sides also discussed affairs pertaining to welfare of the Pakistani community in Bahrain. Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa appreciated Pakistani community's positive role in progress of Bahrain. He also commended Pakistan's cooperation in enhancing Bahrain's defense capability. Bahrain's Prime Minister Crown Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa conveyed his good wishes for Prime Minister Imran Khan and the people of Pakistan. Foreign Office spokesperson Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry has said all energy should be focused at finding a political settlement of the conflict in Afghanistan. Responding to a question during his weekly news briefing in Islamabad today, he said efforts need to be made to find an inclusive, broad-based and comprehensive political settlement as there is no military solution to the Afghan conflict. The spokesperson said India has always played a role of spoiler in the Afghan peace process. He said Pakistan and China are committed to facilitate and support the Afghan-led and Afghan-owned peace and reconciliation process. Minister for Planning and Development Asad Umar has announced a number of measures to ensure vaccination of people against COVID-19 in high-risk sectors. Briefing the media persons in Islamabad today, along with Special Assistant on National Health Services Dr. Faisal Sultan, he said only those people will be allowed to travel by air from the 1st of August who would have taken at least one vaccination shot. In his remarks on the occasion, Special Assistant on National Health Services Dr. Faisal Sultan voiced concerns over increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. Resultantly, he said the burden on hospitals, especially in Karachi, is increasing. The Special Assistant asked the people to observe the health guidelines to check the spread of the pandemic. Special Assistant on National Health Services Dr. Faisal Sultan has said the country's anti-polio efforts are yielding results as no polio case has been recorded over the last 6 months. Addressing a ceremony in Islamabad today, he said this is an encouraging development and we have to ensure high quality in the future vaccination campaigns in order to completely rid the country of this crippling disease. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, senior Hurriyat leader Professor Abdul Ghani Butt has said now is the time to resolve the Kashmir dispute with wisdom in view of the changes taking place across the globe. Professor Butt, talking to delegations in Srinagar, said that world was showing concern about the dispute over Kashmir, which was a positive development. He said wars are not a solution to the dispute and stressed the need for initiation of meaningful and result-oriented dialogue between Pakistan and India on Kashmir. In Bangladesh, more than 12,000 Rohingya refugees have been affected and approximately 2,500 shelters damaged or destroyed due to heavy rainfall. According to the UN Refugee Agency, the situation is further compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic. Japan is leading the medals table of Tokyo Olympics 2020 with 15 gold, 4 silver and 6 bronze medals. China is second with 14 gold, 9 silver and 6 bronze medals, while United States is at third with 13 gold, 14 silver and 10 bronze medals. And finally, the weather report. Rain, wind, thunder shower is expected in Kashmir, Islamabad, Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Gilgit-Baltistan during the next 12 hours. However, isolated heavy falls are expected in Kashmir, Pothohar region, Narowal, Lahore, Sialkot, Abbottabad, Mansehra, Upper Dir, Kohistan, Shangla and Buner during the period. Hot and humid weather is expected elsewhere in the country. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.